Manners, Ada, welcome to an episode of the Daath Path, Divine Militia Part 2.
Yeah.
Come on, you get me? People them screaming for our next one, so I thought I'd give them our next one. Yeah, man, we're gonna get into, so part of this episode is talking about creating from the hidden, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we want to get into how that process of creating from within, that inspiration, the things that govern how you create, decisions that you made, journeys that you've been through, and I suppose how your journey with knowledge of self has impacted your creative process and your reasons why.
Mm.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, definitely want to get into your aspects of creating from the hidden as Divine Militia. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think, yeah, like for you, what is that inspiration, that paradigm that you create for yourself, as to help you create, and yeah, just sort of how's that changed?
You want to go first?
Do you know what I mean?
You want me to go first? I think when it comes to creating,
Yeah,
it has to come from a real place. So firstly, it's your beliefs, it's your thoughts, your feelings.
Yeah.
And then how can you articulate this in a way that gives you the realist portrayal of that? Through like starting music in like school days, etc., you go through learning the skill set.
Yeah.
It takes to actually put bars together.
Yeah.
You figure out the formulas of different flows, etc. So once you kind of got that, you can create anything. And it can either be something that's not real, like not coming from a real place.
Yeah.
Or it can be something that obviously comes from the truest place. And in this society, you kind of want to, as a teenager, you might feel like you want to fit in.
Yeah.
You want to fit in with what's mainstream, what's current.
Yeah.
And the trends, etc.
Yeah.
So if you got those formulas, those formulas to create flows and put words together in a specific way, then you can create that. And you just follow the style of what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like I've gone through that journey and got to a place where I have to write from the truest place. Otherwise, it feels like there's a fraud.
Yeah.
So through doing this for years upon years, I've got many different templates I can draw from.
Right.
To if I'm doing a slow rap song or a fast tempo grime song, conscious dub tune with Steph. It's like you've got different templates that you can draw from to put your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs into that template for that song, because you've worked out the formulas.
Got you.
Do you get me? So I feel like when it comes to creating in the studio, I always kind of go in and what I'm feeling that day or what's been on my chest or my conscious. Like, what do I want to say to the world today? And I work from that space, and I always, once I get that first line, it just flows from there.
I hear you done.
So, but the beat selection dictates how you're gonna flow sometimes.
Okay.
Do you get me?
Okay.
So it depends. I go for a selection of beats that I find maybe online.
Yeah.
And then whatever one hits me that day, that's what I'll go with. And then it just all flows.
Okay. So the vibration, the frequency of the music, the rhythm influences what template you draw from. And I suppose I kind of feel like some artists are happy picking up templates from different ranges and basically don't mind putting the suit on for whatever the track is, which is a skill in itself, almost like an actor.
100%.
Maybe being a bit of an actor and not keeping it 100, but being able to artistically express different perspective, even if they haven't experienced it themselves. There's that side of it. And then there's a side of, you know, your sense of identity being so strong that the templates that you draw from fall within a specific range, which I think is also as equally important and as equally an impressive skill set, because it's all about being able to articulate an imagery and a perspective onto an audience. I mean, I personally prefer. I don't mind the artistic flair, but I kind of do prefer there to be some substance and there to be some truth into the lifestyle that you're living as to what you're then choosing to express on the track.
Yeah.
For me, as a listener, that sort of resonates more.
I feel like with rap, while I maybe had conflicts at a time when I was trying to fit in with what was current, sound like other rappers.
Yeah, come on, talk about that.
I think the conflict comes from rappers supposed to be a real portrayal of yourself.
Yeah.
And from the history of rap, it started from back in the day. It was realness. It weren't no fakeness.
Reality raps, I think they used to call it.
Yeah. So because that was the origin of it, the conflict in me is like I have to give you a real portrayal of myself. And if I'm not, and it's not that I wasn't, I was just maybe bending the line. Still, I wasn't like saying a madness. You get me? I was still being myself, but tweaking a few things here to give it that flair.
Yeah.
But there's a depth within everyone, and I was trying to go deeper within myself to bring that out.
Got you. Steph, I want to bring you in before because there's some things I've sort of shut in my mind when we was talking about them things there, but I want to get your view on what Paris has just expanded upon, which was, your reasons why, what you draw from your hidden place, what templates you draw from.
I guess for the music, it's more like a feeling. It's definitely a feeling. I think like Paris as well, I start with a sound. It doesn't need to be a full beat.
Interesting.
It can be like a sound, it can be a chord, it can be a sample, it can be a loop, whatever. Like,
it must be different for you because you make the beats, innit?
So you make the
beats, so you can start with like just a single sound.
Yeah.
I will find a whole ready done beat. You get me? But
so yeah, I'll find a sound and then maybe I'll get to like a quarter of the way through the sound. Then I'll start writing. Sound will hit me.
Yeah. That's interesting that you say that. Go on.
And then when I'm at that point, I guess once it hits me, I've got a beat already done, drum beat, bass line, melody, chords. Then I've got a hook. And then what usually comes out, it's like I don't necessarily write about like spirituality like that. It just comes out. So it's like when I'm trying to pen, all I'm thinking about, that might just be what's on my mind. Those things. And it's just, I find it easier to just express like that instead of having to think about something and write about it.
Yeah.
Because when you're writing bars, it's like, when you're writing a story, you're just writing. It's like that.
It's
try and
flowing.
keep it flowing. Yeah, keep it flowing.
Yeah.
And then maybe look for a flow, like a skippy flow somewhere and change the flow here, change it there. And then just write to that template and boom.
That's wicked.
He definitely says exactly what's on his mind when he's like penning.
Yeah.
It could be like, say your structure is, you've got 4 words that you can say in a sentence.
Yeah.
You'll put about 10, 20, like, you just say a long sentence and just carry on the flow.
Yeah.
But he's got the skippiest.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how he does it.
Mad.
But that's the beauty of it, because we both got different ways of like flowing, and I'll draw off his energy when he's like gonna done a madness. I'm like, nah, I have to change it up.
Yeah. Come on.
For him, when you're in the rap world, that's his pocket. There's no pocket in there for me.
Yeah, I hear that.
We've got different pockets.
Yeah, I find what I find interesting is about, especially what you were saying, Steph, about what is it about the sound that causes the trigger? Like, is it like
it's like certain. I read a book here, The Ancient Secret of the Flower of Life, and in there it gave like notes and chords to chakras and feelings.
Yeah.
So then when I'd hear a certain,
so you're really using the science in your thing. Come on.
When I hear a certain sound, I'd be like, oh, that feels like this, and then I'd visualize the color and the feeling of that song. I'd be like, if I like the color and feeling of the song, like the first impression it gave me, then I might venture in there. If it's like, I might venture in there a little bit, try and make a beat to it. If I don't like it, then I'm dead.
Yeah.
And then I come and try and wait for the next one. It's like endless supplies of waves, and you just kind of like,
come on, Don.
listen,
Yeah.
listen until sometimes you don't get anything.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Sometimes you don't get anything for you. I think I had a writer's block, like I've just come off it. I had it for 9, 10 months. I'm being like a year.
Yeah.
I ain't made something solidly that I'm like clapping myself for. Like we made this arting ages ago.
Yeah, like you were
Just
saying.
finished it off, but we ain't made something that's like, yo.
In a minute. I suppose it's like,
I did the other day.
Come on now. It's like any artist really, you get me? When they're in their creative spurts and sparks, painters, designers, they don't always go from one project to another. They might have multiple projects running simultaneously as the inspiration flows. So I can definitely see the pattern in that. What I found really interesting in the way in which you described, both of you described how you draw from your templates is you're describing what melanin in the body does. Remember, the melanin is the black dot. It is the energy transducer of the body. What I mean is it can take energy in one form and be able to translate it into another. That's why, like, you're able to smell, for example, because melanin in the nasal passages are able to take in the energy of that smell and translate into a signal to the brain to understand as a smell. Likewise with the ear, likewise with the melanin in the eyes. So it is the darkness through which we sense our world through. Do you know what I mean? So you hearing a sound and then that sound being translated into a color or vibration, which then translates into a feeling. That's a role of melanin being able to transmute and transform. The whole process of alchemy, of being able to transmute and translate something from one form into another. Alchemy is working with the base substance, which is the black substance. So yeah, man, in your creative process, you're embodying universal law and occult science and the mechanics, understanding the mechanics of the body and how it taps in with the spiritual mainframe. To draw down and channel certain messages, information, and how you choose to express it. Do you know what I mean? And what I also find interesting is the state of consciousness that an artist is in at the moment that they're choosing to translate these moments of inspiration. Also, I think helps form the templates upon which they draw upon to write through, the lenses which they put on their thing to write through. So I wanted to get into, because you've done some tunes with quite some big UK artists in the drill scene and in the rap scene as well. And it's like you were doing a certain type of music, you're drawing on certain templates, and you're saying it wasn't quite resonating with you. So I just want to explore your reasoning process, your rationale process, because I want to get to the role that knowledge of self plays in both of your creative processes. You know what I mean? So yeah, just expand upon that experience there.
So I think at that time I didn't really know myself. Put it that way.
Mad. All right.
Didn't know myself. You come up listening to the grime scene, and you're following what is current. You're like literally following what sound is in. You're trying to recreate that sound in your own way, using your own experiences, etc. And drawing off what other artists are saying, taking little bits here and there, and you're trying to form it into your own thing. And doing that for quite a long period of time, still keeping very true to myself in terms of what I was going through.
Go on, bro. Listen to you. Yeah, go on. Let's check.
Still keeping it very true to what I was going through and certain experiences, etc. I just felt I had more depth, like I said before, I had more layers within me that I wanted to touch on, different sound. I didn't want to follow the crowd. Because man's not a follower. But at that time, I guess I was following what was current. But yeah, I felt that me and my people, the people around me, was very drawn into that. The street kind of sound, the drill, the UK rap.
The real rap thing,
You know what I'm saying? So doing those songs really was what sparked the spiritual awakening.
Okay.
If I'm honest, like, because I felt like I was going against what I really wanted to do.
Got you.
You get what I'm saying? So I did those songs and we was doing it for the views. I'll be real. He was doing it for the views.
Come on
he was doing it.
Come on, I feel honest. Come on, you can admit that. Come on,
I'll be
Roger.
honest. Was doing it for the views.
Come
Was
on,
doing
Roger.
it to kind of penetrate the scene because
lightning for penetrate by hey.
Come on, the scene, bro. But yeah, was doing it to kind of get a bigger name.
Yeah.
Get discovered, etc. And if you're doing anything for the wrong reason, like it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have to. You're compromising yourself. You're compromising your beliefs, etc. So doing that really sparked me to go in a different direction and really experiment with different sounds, etc. And that's when I started to make the best music I feel I've ever made. Like, going through that whole spiritual shift, writing music was effortless. When you're trying to write from a place where you're trying to fit in, it's a difficult thing, you know, because you're not in your natural state. Yeah, you get me? You're again picking from here and there to make up this whole package to fit in with a sound that isn't conducive with you. Come on, do you get me? So when I shifted here now and I was making music that really resonated with me, effortless. I wrote 3 projects. Come on now. In the space of like 6 months. Bro. That haven't been released yet. Come on. Because I jumped from making this sound to a whole spiritual kind of sound. I thought, if I release this after I've just done this, I don't know how people are going to take it. So I sat on it, paused for a while. Yeah, lightning. I'm glad you catch that one, you know, bro. Because thing ready. Lightning. But yeah, I left it to the side for a while. I left that music to the side for a while. Yeah. And I've still got it and I still plan to release it. Okay. But yeah, from there I just went on a whole different journey, which led me to meet Steph and make music with him. So I can say that I definitely made the right choice in terms of following my path. Yeah. I hear you. What about you, Steph? Role of the knowledge of self in your creative process. Was there a time it wasn't as important and then it increasing its importance, or has it always been something that, you know, like for me, where I just could never turn it off? It was always, I mean, inspiration and certain insights were just flowing in.
I think maybe them times then there was a lack of knowledge of self.
As there is with all of us, you know what I mean?
So I'll be talking some stupid lyrics and stuff like that. Flowy, vibey, but still nuts. Yeah. Like real lies. No truth in there. And then I guess I started making house music. Okay. Yeah, I remember that with Walks and them, and then come on. Started making house Steppies. And then did that festival stuff. Yeah. And I started grabbing the mic, though. Started spitting. And then I guess like for me, when I started learning about like remembering but learning but like just like exploring my mind and myself, you know, that's when I started to make music effortlessly, because all that I'm thinking about, the only things that interest me in this world is what is this world. I don't business about the rest of it. The rest of it is cool, but as long as I got my family, my money, and people's there, and good space, and grass, and nature, I don't really care about all of this stuff that's going on. I'm like, what is this? What are we doing here? Yeah. That's all I care about. I want to look up into the stars and just be there. So, all I talk about is that stuff, because that's all that's coming to me. That's the realest thing to me. Yeah. That's realist. So when it comes through, I'm just going through a place of, if I've had a madness in a ceremony, for example, I'm gonna talk about it in a track. Yeah. But I'm gonna put it in a way, you know, vibey. Yeah, it's like my work out from the sunken place and I felt that I didn't put in no work. That line is the first line of one thing, and it has so much, for me, it has so much meaning, because I know where I was at that point when I was like, raw tits. Yeah. Like I've lost everything. Like my mind's just gone right now. Yeah. At the lowest point I could be, and I'm in the sunken place right now. I'm like, why? Because I didn't put in no work. I didn't go and do the meds. I didn't do the meditation for like 10 minutes in the morning. It's easy. Why am I missing that out? Why am I going and maybe scrolling for 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Lost in all of this rubbish. Why
Get
don't I
lost in
just
Babs?
get lost in Babs, fam. Babs just caught man in consume me. And then I'm just consuming. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm not about that life.
Yeah.
So obviously I started going more into that stuff and learning about like the things that is so interesting, like because a million other things is like anything else really for me is just opinion and all the rest of it. Yeah. It's opinion.
Yeah.
So you go into reality TV, it's opinion. It's that opinion versus that opinion, and that opinion don't match.
Yeah.
They fight.
Come on.
Oh my God, what's going on? You're just locked into that, and then once they stop fighting, no one cares about the reality series no more because no one is it? I don't know. We don't want to see love. You know what it's called? You want to see love? No. You want to see
the passer.
You want to see all of that stuff.
The mix-up thing.
So it's all like in that world, it's all mix up. You're not looking for the right things in life. You're like. So then when I come out of that world and I start looking at it, and I just like connect to me and what I see in life.
Yeah.
It's a complete different thing.
And I got him here. So good. Thank God.
I'm telling the world.
Go on, do the thing.
The world, bro. Me and Power was at a festival, 100%. And there was a big ass flipping telescope, the size of a car. Of a small car. Yeah. It was bigger than a smart car. I try it. It was longer than a smart car. Yeah. It was long, and fat. And this guy was like, "Hey,
lightning!" It was. I was waiting for him to put up himself, but even now, all on, bro. Listen, my G, you have to let you know what say. C'est pas dangereux, yeah. Yeah, for what I said, incontinence, bro. Whoa. Mad thing. Anyway, hey. Lightning. The telescope thing, though. Hey, telescope. Yeah, man.
And
lower description.
He goes. The guy goes, "Yo, you want to see Saturn? The rings?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Let me see the rings of Saturn now." So I go in there and I look here, but he's pointing me to a star. So I'm like, I'm just looking at a star. It's just a bright light. It don't look like nothing. I'm like, it's a big telescope. It's just a light. What am I looking at? Anyway, I go, look, let me see the moon. He flows it over to the moon. I'm like, raw, big craters, everything. Don't craters. You can see it in depth. You can see like rocks.
Like the moon took up the whole telescope.
Ross.
So it weren't like you're seeing like a small. It was like
the big pieces. Yeah.
I'm there just getting amazed with life.
Yeah. Come on.
And then I see birds, bro.
Where?
This is pitch, but it's dark. It's like about 2 a.m, isn't it? 2 a.m, and he sees
birds flying past the moon.
But it wasn't. It was out in space.
It was out in space because the telescope was so zoomed in. There were birds flying past the moon. So then, like, listen, all right, it gets deeper. I go, oh my God, there's birds flying past the moon. That's what I said. Yeah. Oh my God. Then the guy goes, what? I'm like, bro, come and look. There's birds flying past the moon. There's supposed to be birds flying past the moon. The guy goes to me, he looks through, he's like, there's no birds flying past the moon. I'm like, oh, right, cool. I go, let me look. I look, and I see a spaceship. I swear.
Is it for real?
No,
I'm listening to you.
I am not gassing. I swear, I see a spaceship here. I go, oh my God, there's a spaceship. The guy thinks I'm gassing. I go, Paris. Look, you just told me you see a spaceship.
Yeah.
Sorry, still, I can't lie.
What shape would it look like?
It was. So.
You saw it. You saw it. You know you saw it. We both saw it.
I'm in two minds whether it could have been a satellite.
Okay.
It's in the shape. I don't know what satellite is. But it weren't like a disc or anything. It was more like square with some things coming off it. It was.
Yeah. And how was it? What was it moving like?
It was moving past the moon.
As the birds flying past, spaceship came right up of it, bro. I swear down, I'm not lying.
And then
to you, bro.
on the gram, a couple of weeks later, someone posted the same thing. I think I got it on my phone.
Yeah.
We can show you.
So that's supposedly touching into either those objects in the sky aren't as far away as they're trying to make up.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? They're close to the firmament or to the dome that is over us. That's the only kind of explanation at all man can probably think about. or unless the fabric, or unless the fabric of space ain't also what we're being told it is, such that things can be living out there. I'm not sure, but listen, I believe
that's
in
what I want to
myself.
say.
I think we're closer to the time that we're gonna see extraterrestrial life quite soon, like within our lifetime, I reckon.
Yeah, man. I think
we'll see something.
I've always said from a long time. I think it's irrational to believe that.
Don't know what you got there, though. Go on, land, please, land.
I said land. So
yeah, land. Actually, yeah, good point.
This is what when I'm making my music.
Okay.
Yeah. These are the things that I'm thinking about. These are the things that will go into my music.
But you are killing me, bro.
I'm not even lying. So experiences I go through, those are the things that man puts in my music. Literally. So I'm not lying. You will hear me talk about that in my tune because I'm like, wow, that's such a mad experience. And I'm gonna say it in my tune and then make it like throughout the whole song. But that's what the whole one song is just about. That one experience.
I got you.
There'll be a hook. You won't even clock until I tell to you, yo, that song's about that, you know?
Yeah.
That moment there. Safe landing.
Safe landing. Come on, he landed that. Come on, bro.
Really good still.
I hear that. No, but I think it's irrational to think that in the vastness of time and space that they're trying to present to you that we would be the only sentient life form. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that don't surprise me. For me, the existence of extraterrestrial life or whatever and coming into contact with it doesn't change the work. Knowledge of self is still required, even to be able to communicate. If they can reach here, they've advanced.
I feel like you have to be vibrating on
100%
to even access.
100%. I think it's
able to even talk to them. Do you get what I'm saying? I think it's that sort of level. They're up here where down here still. You get me? So
yeah, especially if they can reach here and we can't go nowhere because we've not been nowhere. Then they're obviously more technologically advanced and an understanding of universe and self in order to be able to do that. Like that's what I want to get across as well. The understanding of the universe is not separate from understanding your universe in you. Why are you? You're a universe. Do you know what I mean? The inner mechanics of yourself, as above, so below, as within, so without. As I always repeat, because it just always pops up. Do you know what I mean? It helps you to reconcile so much those hermetic principles that I could and help you recognize so much. In simplicity is the sublime, I always say. So to explore the universe, one has to know self. One has to understand the mechanics of self. In order to know, because the laws that govern your body are the laws that govern out there. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, the existence, the appearance of different type of life forms in comparison to us, for me, just only confirms the knowledge that I already have about self and the place in it. Like this is still, they still have to have knowledge of self. It's still a process that's required. Do you know what I mean? And I think that is the common. I was having this conversation today in one of the workshops that I was doing. That is what the common link is between everyone and where the universal communion, universal community, universal love, universal respect comes from, is not so much us all thinking the same and having the same belief systems and doing everything the same and being homogenous. It's more the appreciation and the value. I'm just going to get into something else just come through. The value that we place on the knowledge of self, because we understand the importance and in relation to ourselves. Only then can we appreciate the importance it must have in relation to someone else. So you develop a sort of empathy and compassion for the condition of that person based on the understanding of the trueness and the integrity of the pursuit of knowledge of self. Is what allows you to connect and recognize someone that's also on the path and doing their work. Because you're doing your own thing and managing your own yard that you can obviously recognize. And then you have there's like an understanding. The analogy I use is in a neighborhood or whatever, and how you choose to conduct yourself in a neighborhood informs the behavior of your neighbors. You're one that likes to leave rubbish outside their yard and attract certain vermin and certain things into the community and whatever. Someone may follow suit, or you piss someone off and there's a lack of, because you don't have the same appreciation for the space. Whereas if you conduct yourself in a manner that's conducive to how other people can relate to, i.e. keeping a surroundings clean to get an environment beneficial for everyone else, that action sort of encourages other people to do the same thing because they see the mutual benefit of doing so. That mutual benefit of doing so is that knowledge of self process, keeping your environment, your neighborhood clean. So the actions in which you do within that neighborhood contribute to the condition of that neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And one that conducts himself under manners and order, as I say, is like it's like giving out a homing beacon to signal to those that wish to be on the same frequency. Because I can see the value of the works that you do, the fruits of your labor and the works that you're doing, and the connection that we have based on the understanding of this is what unites us and keeps us in cohesion. For the love and for the sake of knowledge of self, for the love and knowledge of self is how you create community. So we don't have to be the same, we don't have to look the same, we don't have to do the same thing, the same culture, but understanding, having a similar understanding on a particular principle can keep a whole community together, a whole culture together.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? So that is the beauty and the power of it. And the reason what I was touching on before, what come through is on that side of things, on the spiritual side of things, money that we use is a agreed upon medium of exchange for an exchange of value. We in economics say goods and services, but on a broader scale, it's an exchange of value. We agree that money is a fair exchange of value when we're trying to trade something. Yeah, so that's the currency, the current, the flow between things here in this material world. On the other side, that currency is energy or power. Power comes from knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So your power level, going into my Dragon Ball Z, but your power level on the other side is based upon your command of the knowledge of self. So as I was saying before, that the love and appreciation and the pursuit and the lifestyle surrounding around knowledge of self is what unites and combines. On the other side of things, the same principles applies. It's the common link between all things, which is the knowledge of self, knowledge of the universe, which leads you into the alchemy, the science, the physics, the biology, the chemistry of the thing, the biology of the thing. It's all one science, stemming from understanding the mechanics of the soul, the mechanics of the psyche. Do you understand? Because the rules that apply within are the rules that apply without. So understanding oneself allows you to manipulate and almost like play strings. Play strings on an instrument and bring about certain realities based on templates that you use, based on your degree of understanding of yourself.
Makes sense.
True.
Do you know what I mean? That's the currency over there. That's the flow. That's what keeps things together out there. It makes sense because that's what keeps things together down here. Do you know what I mean? And the lack of that is what causes the division. The lack of the universal link and understanding is what causes the division. And then you jump into a world of opinions. Nothing wrong with opinions, but they need to be reconciled into their proper place into the overall understanding of how society is supposed to coexist. Do you know what I mean? The opinion can't override natural law. The natural law must be the overarching archetype from which opinions are derived from. And even that acts as I'm going off mad now, but even that acts as a form of, that's why the law is the law, length, angle, and width. Because it is the governing rod through which diversity is meant to hang from, if that makes sense. If I see it as an overarching thing, opinions are drawn down from inferences and understanding of universal law. Those opinions are governed within the paradigm of, as I said, universal law. So it's like a self-balancing equation. Am I making sense or am I going mad?
I get what you're saying.
Do you know what I'm saying? That without that understanding, opinions can run wild. This is what they're doing. And you're getting difficult and everyone can be right and everyone's got their right for their voice to be heard, which is true. I'm not saying it doesn't, but there's no order. There's no order to the things. It's just freelance towards a particular end or objective, which is what universal law tries to ultimately accomplish. You can have all this diversity, but this diversity must converge back into the one original source from which it came. So there must be a gradual reconciliation of these thoughts into a universal truth and understanding. So the opinions can be cool, but are they based on universal understanding? And that's when those line of thoughts then become valuable and they come to teach people things, because it's based on a line of integrity of thought. And that ties back to the motivations from which you guys draw upon in which you order to create. It stems from that, again, that overarching archetype of having knowledge of self, of having that integrity in what you're talking in your message. Do you know what I'm saying? That governs the opinions and the things that you draw down from when you're in your creative space. Yeah. So the knowledge, and mad. Next thing, because the knowledge of self, knowledge is the light of the mind. You only get light out of darkness when you're able to structure the darkness and condense it into a particular frequency which can produce light. So knowledge of self is the medium and the tools in which we use to cultivate the darkness and draw things from it. Do you understand? Now, if you've got poor tools, let's say, don't blame your tools. Look at the workman, but the tools and the workman is one and the same here, because we're talking about the tools which you're cultivating from yourself to draw your own inspiration from,
which is your mind.
Which is your mind, my bro. By the sweat of your brow you shall surely eat bread. You're gonna have to till the soil for you to eat food. It wasn't just a physical thing. Internally, we have to till the dark soil, the earth which is the heart, the anagram. Heart is an anagram for earth. So we have to till the earth, till the heart, cultivate the darkness, cultivate the melanin within, and structure it to produce a particular frequency that we wish to manifest. But we first must have knowledge of self about what it is that we want to cultivate and why. Drawing from a real reason. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes that comes from the experiences that we have in this lifetime. And the experiences make up the substance and the fabric of which we want to draw and cultivate this life, this light from. Do you know what I'm saying?
I definitely feel like
Yeah.
when I'm in that zone of writing, when I proper get deep into it.
Yeah.
And most of the time when I'm by myself, I get to a point where like I feel like the music's just coming through me.
Yes, I understand that.
Maybe at the start it's a bit more difficult to actually get any lyrics out. But once I'm like, the music's playing, I'm zoned out, I'm in my own space, I've lost track of time, I'm just in it. It's like, I'm just downloading the lyrics.
Yes, yeah, come on.
A level of vibration or frequency. I hate to use those words.
Because of the buzz, the conscious buzzword, but we understand it. It conveys the understanding.
Yeah, I feel like man's vibrating at a level where I've got to a point where I know what I want to say. I might not have the way in which I want to say it, but I get to a point where I shock myself. I will listen to the song back and think, how did I even write that? How did I come up with that flow? How did I put that metaphor together, that sentence together? Because I'm just in that zone. It's like I'm tapping into something.
I do. I really do.
That's what happens a lot of the time when I'm making music.
I love that, because I recognize that when I start speaking, as I do hear many times talking with you, man, where I just go off on a mad tangent. I'm downloading the thing live. Do you understand? And so only afterwards I think, I don't know where that come from. I always go to you, man. Why did I raise that again? Because it's just, I don't know. It's just like plugged in, and it's just, and it's just there. It's just 1 minute it's not there, and as I'm talking, it just appears.
I think you have to talk it out to actually make sense.
Sometimes, 100%.
You know what I'm saying, and if you don't actually say it out, it's always existing inside.
And you notice that's dope, bro. You notice how talking it out is using the vibration words, which gives matter form. So even to enhance, it's something like hazy in certain focus. We vibrate it and we resonate it and we sift it out until it becomes clear. Do you know what I mean? And then we can articulate with our words and pass that imagery on to another person and transfer of energy and message and imagery. So your music, bad man, when you break it down like that, your music, bad man, is not a joke thing. What you're speaking from the throat chakra, which is actually where Daath is, when you're operating and vibrating that particular energy center within yourself, to do so unconsciously is well, as we've seen, is highly destructive. You can sway a nation, you can sway a people. It's that powerful.
I feel like in this day and age, people are more susceptible to take that vibration of music
Yeah.
and run with it, because it has an energy about it that keeps you in a kind of state of forgetting about your worries. Let's just party today, like we'll deal with that
Tomorrow type thing.
And it's like Monday to Friday's work, weekend, let's tap back into that.
Yeah.
When do you actually have time to really sit with self and actually get to know self?
Yeah.
If you're always working, or you're always surrounded by people, or you're always out.
Yeah.
Do you get me? And that's the day and age we live in, where until you actually find that time to sit with self and get to know self and isolate from people,
yeah,
you're never gonna wake up
that isolation.
What you're living in.
And every sort of spiritual philosophical scripture always alludes to that period of isolation in some capacity, in order to bring about a metamorphosis, change. To cultivate power, one must be isolated. And there it is again. To cultivate power, one must. Isolation implies loneliness. It implies an imagery of going within, being alone, in the dark, in your own darkness, in your own melanin, in your own mind. To draw and figure out what this thing is about. I mean, it's a structure the darkness into light. Do you know what I mean? And I think maybe that's where the analogy of light conquering darkness comes from. I think the connotations are a bit misguided, because it implies that darkness is something to be defeated, as though it's evil, or it's something that's not beneficial to you, rather than it being the true meaning of that is probably the alchemical process, converting lead into gold. Do you know what I mean? Raising up and changing the properties of that original base substance into something that's elevated, into something that's higher. Do you know what I'm saying? So to structure the light to structure the darkness isn't about light conquering darkness. It's having the mastery of being able to transmute and translate between the two different polarities. The light that appears as visible, the light that appears as visible, and the light that appears as invisible, which we would term as darkness. It's being able to be master of those two polarities. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I just think that's crazy. Man.
Well, I feel like you can only really get the answers once you kind of close your eyes.
There you go.
Go into that darkness. And you know how they say the Son, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit?
Yeah.
I feel like
lightning because there's no woman.
I've said to Steph, this is how I interpret that.
Go on.
I'm the Son in my physical body. My higher mind is the Father. You see, when you take this invisible air in, this oxygen, that they call it, you take enough of that in a meditative state. Yeah. It changes your brainwaves.
Interesting. Yeah,
you know, when they say
I see that.
Meditate,
I see that, bro.
You take enough deep breaths, you feel, and like I meditate for like 45 minutes to an hour.
Bro, wicked.
After like 20 minutes of taking deep breaths in, like my body fades away, and I'm inside.
Talk the science, my bro. Come on now.
And it's only when I get into that state where I can't feel my hands. It's like I just feel like energy vibrating.
Yeah, come on.
You know when you do like deep breath work, you kind of take fast breaths in.
Yep.
You do 20 breaths or 30 breaths, your hands start to tingle and vibrate. That's what it is, but over a long period of time.
Got you.
Of like meditating for that long. I take deep breaths in for like say 20 minutes, and I go inside. I've obviously closed my eyes, and I'm inside the darkness.
Mad.
Then you start to see stuff.
Yeah.
You get me? You see little floaty stuff.
Yeah, come on.
You get me? But you can also imagine stuff.
There we go.
Scenarios and how to like solve things and ask yourself stuff.
Yeah, brother.
You get what I'm saying? And that's where you get the answer.
Yeah, you're talking the science for real.
The depth of yourself.
100%. 100%. What are you telling me, Steph?
No, that's real.
He's blowing man away and everything.
Yeah, like it's real. At first I was like thinking about it, but then it's real. I've been to the same place that he's talking about. And you do get to a place past a couple breaths or 10, 20 breaths where you really practice.
Yeah.
sifting out the unwanted like messages,
Yeah.
and just to when it's just you in here,
Yeah.
and when it is just you in here, yeah, it's the same thing. Where you ask yourself questions.
Do you know what's happened?
The answers.
What's happened to me when I've taken meditation to a certain state is like I start to see it's like a golden light.
Circle.
Yeah, bro.
Pulsating.
Yeah, but for me, it's like as if someone is shining a light directly above me, and I can see like the bottom half of the circle as well, because my eyes are focusing up, and I'm seeing a golden, sort of like a golden light. And then I have this technique where I roll, you know, that space in the back of your, and I'm doing it now in the back of your in your back of your mouth, where if just before your tonsils, there's like that little groove.
I'm gonna say light into that one.
For what? What are you gonna say like that?
The back of your tonsils.
Alright, man, we say, man, I take a lightning. We say, man, take a lightning bar for that. Alright, cool. Man, take a lightning for that. Alright, cool. But anyway, you fold your tongue back up to the roof of your mouth, and you sort of press it up, and then breathe. Do the breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth type thing. When I've done that, I seen the chakra colors go up all the way up to like all the way up to like the green and the blue thing, and then it's like I saw like two orbs coming like this, and they sort of collided, and when they crashed down, it was like a mad explosion of light. And I swear to God, it felt like shivers going up. Shivers going up and down my spine. It was but it was like a nice sensation. It's a mad tingling sensation. You know when you stretch sometimes, when you stretch, you get that feeling. Lightning for that noise as well. What's going on? I'm going. What am I doing? What's going off? Like, what's going on? Someone talk to me anyway.
I get you with the
it's that.
For me, like when I get to a certain point, especially if I'm outside and the sun's shining, that's when I kind of get the circle of light and pulsating, and it's like the energy just keeps going like that, and that's like, that's something that I've experienced.
Yeah, come on, and it's when I've gone into those states, it's more just seeing like the light playing the colors. It's like I'm traveling and I forget my physical surrounding sensations. I'm just in this mad moment, and then it's like when I come out of that, it's like almost it's like a cleansing.
Yeah.
Certain things I'm just picking up clear. Do you get me? And able to certain things that maybe was reading or watching, I couldn't really get the grips off. I watch it again, and it's like it makes sense. Do you know what I mean? So that whole meditative process, and they stop you from having the time to yourself. You know, they really do stop you having the time for yourself. You always got to be plugged into something, scrolling something, watching something, being distracted, entertained by something.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's boring. Oh man, there's nothing going on. Do you know what I mean? You want to flick on YouTube, you want to flick on something. Sometimes to have discipline to just do nothing. Imagine that, the discipline to just do nothing. It's probably one of the hardest things.
But it's also like when you probably start off meditating, you probably do it for 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes, and think nothing's happening, man.
Yeah, because you're expecting something out of fucking Doctor Strange and everything there.
But it's, I think, something you have to build up.
Yes.
Patience into doing.
It's a gradual thing.
Yeah.
Because I suppose it's exercise for the mind. It's like exercising the body. You're not going to pick up a certain weight and just be able to smash it out. You got to train and work up to it, and you know, get the mind used to being under that strain and that stress, in order to be able to, you know, to be able to lift certain things. You know, lift your consciousness, raise it up. You got to train up the mind to lift up that heavy weight. Do you know what I mean? Because it's burning down with a lot of things. Yeah, that's crazy, man.
I just brought that up just to
go on.
Say, like, obviously taken from the invisible, the metaphysical realm, bringing into this physical realm. Like, music sometimes is like a meditation.
Yep.
And it's therapeutic to be able to work through your thoughts and bring them to life.
Yeah.
And then share them with people.
Yeah.
You get me? Sometimes people like it, sometimes people don't. But as long as I get to work through that process, that's my therapy in a sense. Do you get me?
I hear that, bro. I hear that, bro.
Like that.
And it's almost like just touching on a point about being still being one of the hardest things to do. I suppose it's because we're governed by the law of motion. Everything vibrates, everything moving, nothing rests. So imagine that to go against the running of the matrix. If it's constantly vibrating, to be able to be still around that which is always moving around you allows you. It's almost like it's like how you control time, because everything is moving around you and you're still, but you're still able observing the movement. To be the unmoved mover is a way in which Amun was described in Kemet, the hidden principle, that which is hidden, that is hidden, the hidden force behind all things. Amun, the hidden Ra, the visible, the dark light, the visible light. Amun is the unmoved mover. It is the primordial essence, the primordial source, the beginning of all things. It causes all motion, but is unmoved itself because it is infinity. Do you know what I mean?
But I think it's also...
So you just tap into that. You tap into corresponding with that which is infinite by not following time. You stand still in time and be outside of time and space, which means you tap into that infinite, you tap into that darkness, which is the infinite, where infinite possibilities occur simultaneously at the same time, which is sometimes described as chaos, which I always repeat. By meditating is allowing oneself to be still in the realm of motion. So you can begin to calculate and see and observe the laws of the mechanics of your environment, and then become wise enough to choose when you want to step into the current of the stream and partake, to travel to a certain place, and then to step back out and sit on the Nile bank. Do you know what I mean? And remain still until time. Do you know what I mean? That man, I wonder how sometimes these people were able to observe such length periods of time. You stop the aging process. You stop the travel through time. Do you know what I mean? By being in time, maybe that's a deeper reason of the scripture to be in the world but not of the world.
I think it's the tap into spirit.
The tapping into the spirit, yeah.
If we are humans if we are spirits having a human experience, then the only way to really tap in is to be still, go into that darkness. You get me?
Because you have something that's like I think it's called dielectric light, or dielectric energy, which is static and not moving, and then you have energy that moves and vibrates, which would be the visible white light. And that's I got that off a lecture by Santos Bonacci, one of his most recent ones, where he breaks down electromagnetism and the yin yang symbol and the electromagnetic torus field and Toro and all them kind of words there. He does a brilliant breakdown of it. Just reminded me of what he said about the dielectric light, or dielectric energy being seen as the black light, where it's potential energy that's not moving, energy without motion, energy with motion. And that aligns, that corresponds with what we were just discussing about being the unmoved mover, because the light comes out of the darkness in that yin yang symbol. It's mad, isn't it? Yeah, you see it. And then when light loses its energy, it dims, it stops moving and turns back into that dielectric energy, which is where you've got the black dot in the white part of the yin yang symbol, because it's almost like breathing. The white light has expanded and contracting back into the black, to the dark, and the dark side from its contraction is expanding and producing light. So even that yin yang symbol, when you view it like that, in your mind is moving in motion as lungs breathe, as everything breathes. Do you know what I mean? A pulse, a magnetic pulse. Come on, brothers.
Yeah. You want that one?
Do you get me? And then that pulse is what produces, because yin yang symbol's always got that S in it. That's that sine wave, that oscillation of energy, which is a pulse, waxing and waning and them things there. Do you get me? Ebb and flow, which is in mathematics and trigonometry, which is your cosine curve and your sine curves, and the movement of lines around a circle in a three-dimensional. I'm going into mad mathematics now, into a three-dimensional. So you get the cosine, the sine, the cosine, and the tangent formulas based on the rotational symmetry. and you get certain movements and spirals of life and them things there.
Mm.
All from that way our lungs work.
Alright, so.
So the rhythm of the heart, the rhythm of the lungs. I'm trying to tell you the laws that how you travel this universe, my dons. As I was saying to you, how you travel this universe is understanding your own universe first. It's knowledge of self. So whichever terrestrial, which any kind of thing want to turn up, I come from the seed of the great mother and governed by the laws of the universe. Who are you? Imagine being able to talk to a quote unquote extraterrestrial being with that level of authority. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, crazy. I just
He brought it back.
brought it back. Landed because it was getting mad. Hey.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's fun, huh? Come on. Nah, I've enjoyed this once again.
Yes.
Man, them.
Thank you for having us, man.
Of course, my G's. Man, them. This has been powerful.
Love.
This one's gonna mash up people. So it's gonna mash up people. So if you remember the show,
Love.
man, as I'm all day every time, my G. Balance.
Come on. I got the wind in my cells. Nothing but love when you're wishing me well. When you're wishing me well. Man, they're wishing me well. Haters wishing I'm fail. But I got the wind in my cells, so I don't need nothing else. Yo, I got the wind in my cells, flying up high, doing up movie, tunes are loony, pushing out vibes, come straight through me, somewhere inside, I'ma just fly. Wind in my ear sign, doing up aqua.